Hi everyone, upcoming Curie class. I'm Mrs Peiris.
And I'm Miss Nicholson.
And we're really looking forward to meeting you in September. So you might be wondering, there is two of us. So I will be teaching you Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday.
And I will be taking you for Thursday and Friday.
And today we are going to share with you a book from the 100 book list, 5 Children and It. Hope you enjoy. Chapter 1, Beautiful as the Day. The house was 3 miles from the station, but before the dusty-haired fly had rattled along for 5 minutes, the children began to put their heads out of the carriage window and to say,
"Aren't we nearly there?"
And every time they passed a house, which was not very often, they all said,
"Oh, is this it?"
But it never was, till they reached the very top of the hill, just past the chalky quarry and before you came to the gravel pit. And then there was the White House with the green garden and the orchard, and Mother said, "Here we are."
How white the house is,"
said Robert. "And look at the roses," said Anthea.
"And the plums," said Jane.
"It's rather decent," Cecil admitted. The baby said, "Wanty to go walkie," and the fly stopped with the last rattle and a jolt.
Everyone got its legs kicked or its feet trodden on in the scramble to get out of the carriage that very minute, but no one seemed to mind. Mother, curiously enough, was in no hurry to get out, and even when she had come down slowly and by the steps with no jump at all, she seemed to wish the boxes carried in, and even to pay the driver, instead of joining in that first glorious rush around the garden and the orchard and the thorny, thistly, brambly wilderness beyond the broken gate and the dry fountain at the side of the house. But the children were wiser, for once. It was not really a pretty house at all. It was quite ordinary, and Mother thought it was rather inconvenient, and was quite annoyed at there being no shelves to speak of, and hardly a cupboard in the place. Father used to say that the ironwork on the roof and was coping was like an architect's nightmare, but the house was deep in the country, with no other house in sight, and the children had been in London for 2 years without so much as once going to the seaside, even for a day by an excursion train, and so the White House seemed to them as a sort of fairy palace set down on earthly paradise. For London is like a prison for children, especially if their relations are not rich.
Of course, there are shops and theatres and cooks and everything, but if your people are rather poor, you don't get taken to the theatres and you can't buy things out of the shops, and London has none of those nice things that children play with without hurting the things or themselves, such as trees, sand, wood and waters. And nearly everything in London is the wrong sort of shape. All straight lines, flat streets, instead of being all sorts of shapes. All things are in the country. Trees are all different, as you know, and I'm sure some tiresome person must have told you that there are no 2 blades of grass exactly alike. But in the streets where blades of grass don't grow, everything is like everything else. This is why there are so many children who live in towns are so extremely naughty. They do not know what the matter is with them, and no more do their fathers and their mothers, aunts and uncles, cousins, tutors, governesses and nurses. But I know, and so do you now. Children in the country are naughty sometimes too, but that is for quite different reasons.
The children had explored the gardens and the outhouses thoroughly before they were caught and cleaned for tea. They saw quite well that they were to be certain to be happy at the White House. They thought so from the first moment. But when they found the back of the house covered with jasmine, all in white flowers and smelling like a bottle of expensive perfume scent that is ever given for a birthday present, and when they had seen the lawn, all green and smooth and quite different from the brown grass in the gardens at Camden Town, and when they had found the stables with a loft over it and some old hay still left, they were almost certain. And when Robert had found the broken swing and tumbled out of it and got a lump on his head the size of an egg, and when Cyril had nipped his finger in the door of a hutch that seemed to be made to keep rabbits in, if you ever had any, they had no longer any doubt whatsoever.
The best part of it all was there was no rules about going to places and not doing things. In London, almost everything is labelled, "You mustn't touch." And though the label is invisible, it's just as bad because you know that it's there, or if you don't, you jolly soon will get told. The White House was on the edge of a hill, and with the wood behind it, the chalky quarry on one side and the gravel pit on the other. Down at the bottom of the hill was a level plain with queer-shaped buildings where people burnt lime, and big red brewery and other houses. And when the chimneys were smoking and the sun was setting, the valley looked as if it was filled with golden mist, and limekins and outhouses glimmered and glittered till they were like an enchanted city of the Arabian Nights. And we're going to leave it there because we don't want to spoil this for you if you would like to read it.
But we hope you have a lovely summer and we'll see you in September.
Bye.